Good afternoon, or good morning, good evening, good night, depending on where you are in the world. This is Gloria White, and I am coming to you from Utah, USA. Today I'm going to be reading from chapter 32 in the book of Ezekiel out of the King James Holy Bible. And I'm going to do it chapter by chapter, because I've noticed that if I make a long video with several chapters, that the viewing time is dropping, it's falling off. So people are losing their interest, or it's just they don't have time for a very long video. So to try to accommodate everyone in this time where there's so much news to be absorbed and so many things to take care of, and kids at home and meals to cook and all these things that life requires of us. But I do want to, provide the word of the Lord so that you can enjoy that in the time frame that you have available. So, in the future, one chapter at a time. Now, my doggie is wanting me to play with her, and I'm going to have to ignore her. Here we go. Chapter 32, the book of Ezekiel. And it came to pass in the 12th year, in the 12th month, in the first day of the month, that the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, now this is what God calls Ezekiel, take up a lamentation or a mourning for Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and say unto him, Thou art like a young lion of the nations, and thou art as a whale of the seas, or a monster. And thou camest, or burst forth with thy rivers, and troubleth the waters with thy feet, and fouleth thy rivers. Thus saith the Lord God, I will therefore spread out my net over thee with a company of many people, and they shall bring thee or draw thee up in my net. Then will I leave thee upon the land, and I will cast thee forth upon the open field, and I will cause the fowls of heaven to remain upon thee, or to dwell upon thee, and to fill the beasts of the whole earth with thee. It's going to leave them to the vultures and the wild animals. And I will lay thy flesh or carcass upon the mountains, and fill the valleys with thy height. I will also water with thy blood the land wherein thou swimmest, or the land with the flow of your blood, even to the mountains, and the rivers shall be full of thee. And when I shall put thee out, or put out thy light, I will cover the heaven, and make the stars thereof dark. I will cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon shall not give her light. He's going to leave them in utter darkness. All the bright lights of heaven will I make dark over thee, and set darkness upon thy land, saith the Lord God. I will vex or trouble the hearts of many people, when I shall bring thy destruction among the nations into the countries which thou hast not known. Yea, I will make many people amazed or astonished at thee, and their kings shall be horribly afraid for thee, when I shall brandish my sword before them, and they shall tremble at every moment, every man for his own life, in the day of the fall. For thus saith the Lord God, the sword of the king of Babylon shall come upon thee. That would be King Nebuchadnezzar. And he had used Nebuchadnezzar and his army to take down Tyrus. And when that occurred, the soldiers of Nebuchadnezzar's armies, they receive no plunder or reward for their service to God. So now he's going to use Nebuchadnezzar to take Pharaoh down. And when he does, all the plunder from Egypt and the surrounding nations, the soldiers will reap that reward. And that will be their payment for having accomplished God's will. Because we serve a just God. For thus saith the Lord God, the sword of the king of Babylon shall come upon thee. By the swords of the mighty I will cause thy multitude to fall. The terrible, or the terrors, the most terrible, the most terrible of the nations, all of them, and they shall spoil or plunder the pomp of Egypt. And all the multitudes thereof shall be destroyed. He's going to destroy everyone. King Nebuchadnezzar is going to wipe them out. I will destroy also the beast thereof from beside the great waters. Neither shall the foot of man trouble them or muddy them any more, nor the hooves of beast muddy them or trouble them. Then will I make their waters deep, settle, or to become clear, and cause their rivers to run like oil, saith the Lord God. Now oil is thicker than water, and water would move quickly or swiftly, but he's going to make it like oil, where it's thick. When, saith the Lord God, when I shall make the land of Egypt desolate, and the country shall be destitute of that whereof it was full, when I shall smite all of them that dwell therein, then shall they know that I am the Lord. This is the lamentation or the mourning, like at the loss of someone. Mourning, not mourning like as in the sun just came up. This is the lamentation wherewith they shall lament her. The daughters of the nations shall lament her. They shall lament her even for Egypt, and for all her multitude, saith the Lord God, all of them, everyone in Egypt. It came to pass also in the 12th year, in the 15th day of the month, that the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, wail for the multitude of Egypt, and cast them down, even her, and the daughters of the famous nations, unto the nether, or deep parts, or the depths of the earth, parts of the earth, with them that go down to the pit. Now, he's talking about the pit in hell. Whom doth thou pass in beauty or surpass? Go down and be thou laid with the uncircumcised. Now, when he's saying here the uncircumcised, we know that the Jewish people were circumcised as a sign to God that they were his people. The uncircumcised are not people of God in this Old Testament. In the New Testament, the uncircumcision or the circumcision is of the heart. They shall fall in the midst of them that are slain by the sword. She is delivered to the sword. Draw her in all her multitudes. Now, in previous chapters, God was readying his sword. He was polishing it so it was shiny. And when it would move around, when he would take it in his hand and turn it back and forth like this, the glittering from the shiny metal, it would be flashing. And so here, he has handed his sword into the hand of the king of Babylon. So let's see where. And she is delivered to the sword. Draw her and all her multitudes. The strong among the mighty shall speak to him out of the midst of hell with them that help him. They are gone down. They lie uncircumcised, or lie with the uncircumcised, slain by the sword. Asher or Assyria is there, and all her company. His graves are about him, all of them slain, fallen by the sword. Whose graves are set in the sides or recesses of the pit, and her company is round about her grave, all of them slain, fallen by the sword, which caused terror in the land of the living. There is Elam, and all her multitude round about her grave, all of them slain, fallen by the sword, which are gone down uncircumcised into the nether or lower parts of the earth, which caused their terror in the land of the living. Yet have they bored their shame with them that go down to the pit. They have set her a bed in the midst of the slain, with all her multitude. Her graves are round about him, all of them uncircumcised, slain by the sword. Though their terror was caused in the land of the living, yet have they borne their shame with them that go down to the pit. He is put in the midst of them that be slain. There is Meshicha, Tubal, and all her multitude. Her graves are round about him, all of them uncircumcised, slain by the sword, though they caused their terror in the land of the living. And they shall not lie with the mighty that are fallen of the uncircumcised, which are gone down to hell with their weapons of war. And they have laid their swords under their heads, but their iniquities or sins shall be upon their bones, though they were the terror of the mighty in the land of the living. They terrorized everyone that they came across. Yea, except now by the hand of God, Nebuchadnezzar. Yea, thou shalt be broken in the midst of the uncircumcised, and shall lie with them that are slain with the sword. There is Edom, her kings, and all her princes, which with their might, or despite their might, are laid by them, or beside them that were slain by the sword. They shall lie with the uncircumcised, and with them go down to the pit. There be the princes of the north, all of them, and all the Zidonians, which are gone down with the slain, with their terror, or in the shame at the terror which they caused by their might. With their terror they are ashamed of their might, and they lie uncircumcised with them that be slain by the sword, and bear their shame with them that go down to the pit. Pharaoh shall see them, and shall be comforted over all his multitude, even Pharaoh and his army slain by the sword, saith the Lord God. For I have caused my terror in the land of the living, and he shall be laid in the midst of the uncircumcised, with them that are slain with the sword, even Pharaoh and all his multitude, saith the Lord God. Thanks for joining me. If you like this, please hit the thumbs up button. And if you think it will bring enlightenment or comfort or understanding to a fellow Christian, or anyone that you think um, enjoys the scriptures of God, then please share it. I love you. Thanks for joining me.